The book, the documentary are incredible. They're entertaining. I'm going to fly through some stuff. Okay.
Okay.
I just want
okay,
to hit you with some stuff.
Hold on, but thank you.
No.
Gee, that's really nice to hear. Thank you.
No.
That's
It is.
awesome.
I do think that it will win an Emmy next year. I really do. I believe that.
Okay.
But let's start with, first of all, the crew you grew up with.
Right.
Was insane. Did you know that you guys were that talented? You made these little movies and you hung out, but I mean, you turned out being like this world famous group of guys.
What was in the water, as David said tonight? Yeah. We didn't. I mean, people would start emerging, meaning like even in those cheap little movies, you could start to see who was taking it more seriously because they felt that they had something to ultimately deliver on a bigger stage, you know. And you could see it happening with Chris really early. Yeah. You could see it happening with Sean at an accelerated pace that he was a little bit older, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course it was Emilio, kind of in the same rate with Sean. And then I was kind of the last guy, you know. So I don't want to say like the last guy picked, but with all the examples happening, it did create a certain amount of pressure or excitement to like, okay, this is what we did here. Now they're all doing it over there. That's a party I need to join. You know.
You tell a great story about Jennifer Grey going out on the limb for Ferris Bueller for you.
Drugs?
Thank you. No, I'm straight.
I meant, are you in here for drugs?
Why are you here?
Drugs.
Yeah.
And what did you do the night before you were supposed to appear in Ferris Bueller?
I went method. And just decided that instead of Ramon's cigarette ash for the audition that never turned into an audition, that I would show up with actual fatigue, and just didn't show up. And yeah, no, that's a cool story though, isn't it?
It is an amazing story because
you.
Jennifer Grey wanted to kill you when she saw
did,
it,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and then what you see on camera in that police station, that's literally like a half hour after her undressing. You know, she let me have it, as I say in the book, with both barrels. You know.
Okay, what is it about Nick Cage that is like you two together? It is like an explosive combination.
Yeah, I touched on that in the book. Something about there was some mutual type of fission, and I brought the missing neutrons. You know. Yeah, it was like that with us, like from day one, and even when we see each other now, it still harnesses a similar energy. We're just both, older and wiser and not interested.
Wait a minute, you still are there when you see each other. You're still like, hey, let's go, let's hang, let's.
I'm saying it's the same energy, but without all the destructive nonsense that used to go with it. You know, but it's still, it's like it's perfect. A form of just evolved it's chaos. It's mature chaos. Yeah. But it's all underpinned with humor.
But back then it was immature chaos.
Very immature chaos. Yes. Yeah.
You tell a great story about going to rehab. It was your time to go to rehab.
Sure.
But instead of going to rehab, you had to go for one last bender with your boys, with your homies, down in Palm Springs at a Hawaiian Tropics bikini contest.
Well, we were the judges, and how was that contest going to happen without us, you know? And then I did have an interesting line in the doc where I say, what's the difference if I get sober like 12 hours from now or right now? And the thing about the bet with the nurse is that all happened. That all happened.
Yeah, you wrote her a note that said, if I'm late, if I don't make it back here by 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna give you $1 million.
Give you $1 million. And I meant it. And she knew that I meant it. So when she saw me walking back up, she was happy that, the guy was still interested in doing what he had to save himself. But she was a little torn.
She wanted her $1 million. She was like, dude, show up at 8:32.
I could have been a half hour late, or even if I was a minute late, it would have violated the contract, But it made that time down there a little more epic. you know.
You guys squeezed a lifetime of partying into one single night for you
We
out.
thought we were going to, but the book tells a different story about what actually happened. Yeah, it's a
Yes.
trip.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
You flew an airplane, a passenger plane,
that thing.
intoxicated. So you go in, you go to get some extra drinks,
Right.
and the pilot, well, his navigator comes in and says, "Hey, man, you coax your way into the cockpit. You
Well,
flew the plane."
It was an invite to start with.
Yeah.
And and they welcomed me in, and what started as just a friendly couple of photos turned into, as I call it in the book, a photo shoot with props. One giant 200-ton prop. That happened, and I think enough time has. That would have been October of '95, if it's the honeymoon, right?
Yeah.
And but again, what I also point out in the book is the whole thing was probably 90 seconds, maybe.
90 seconds, they trusted you with a
They did.
passenger
Yeah,
plane.
they did. But the adjustments were so minor. But the response of that magical bird were unlike anything before or since. And as I write in the book, I didn't need to. I could just leave it there.
Yeah.
I mean, not just how do you recapture that? Why do you want to recapture that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's wild. Outside, you just said the one thing that you wish you could change is tattoos.
These tattoos, I know. I probably pissed a few people off when I said that, and when I put that at the top of the list, but what I followed that up with is true.
That it's the heart, you can't fix it. You can never.
You can't just wish them away, you know? I mean, I haven't gotten one in a very long time, probably like over a decade. And I haven't gotten any in sobriety, that's for sure. But I know there's ways to get rid of them, but it is a lengthy process that is a commitment to such tedious pain.
But you also used your tattoo to hide something that you were doing.
I did, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was trying to be sneaky.
Until you were shooting up,
Right.
and the tattoo hid the needle marks.
Oh yeah, yeah. But then I say in the book, at some point I was going to need to be in permanent long sleeves or get a bigger tattoo. You know, just talking about the progression of things.
All right.
But no, I thought that was at least a cool attempt at a camouflage. You know.
Yeah. Okay, can I tell you about my favorite story from the book and the doc?
Please.
You're making a movie, and you have been on a bender. You have lit it up.
I know where you're going. Yeah.
And you come back, and the next day the director says, "Hey, man, you're nodding off in the scene."
You're falling asleep on camera. Yeah.
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 So what did you go do?
I asked that they somebody get a cup of ice, not ice water, ice. And I'd never heard of anybody doing this. I'd never done it before. It was never presented in any type of a sexual setting. It's something that, it was the only thing I saw as a solution in that moment. And I went into the bathroom and took one of the ice cubes and keistered it and just put it up the butt. And what it did was, that's suddenly the only thing you're thinking about, as you can, I'm sure, imagine. And sat down, probably did one more take, got the scene, and we made the day.
But I mean,
you know,
how did you come up with that?
well, it's like there's a line in the book that crack sometimes is as well the mother of invention.
All right.
That was pretty creative, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was creative.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you spoken to John Cryer? And do you wish that 2.5 Men had gone better?
Well, of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. No, I still owe John a phone call, but look what's been going on just since you and I last spoke. You know, it's been this awesome promotional tsunami. I don't know that show would ever come back or would ever have a chance at ending properly. But if it did, it would be, I would do it more for the fans than for myself. Mm-hmm. Just put a proper bookend on it.
It would be nice to bring it back, just to kind of tie it up. Tie it in a bow.
Just to bring it, just to land that plane. No pun intended. How it always should have touched down, like a frisbee on the beach.
how's your health now and how are you feeling?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you look
Pretty
great.
good.
I
Thank
mean,
you.
look great.
Thank
and
you.
clearly somebody out there in the crowd was trying to, meet you.
I mean, that's flattering. That's pretty flattering.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel good. I exercise, I eat well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, the math is pretty simple. You know what I mean? When
Just
you
do
break
the
it
right
down,
thing.
the math
Do the
is
right
pretty
thing.
simple, yeah.
Right. Just stop with the madness, right?
Yeah. But this is exciting. This, I don't know if I mentioned this, if we got into this at the thing the other day, but this just feels like a reset. Feels like a reset. It just feels like this book, this doc, this willingness to just deal with all this stuff and embrace it with humor and courage and and not.
No, listen, when I saw the doc, I was like, give this dude kudos because he's laying it all out there.
Yeah.
More so than I would ever do it.
Right on. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
and I applaud you. Last thing, real quick.
Yeah.
The Corey Haim stuff, it's in part 2.
Right. Yeah.
What can you tell us about that? Because now people are trying to back it up to when you guys were younger.
Yeah. It's absolutely. It's a complete work of fiction and a vile work of fiction. And forget me. It's a hideous insult to the memory of him. And shame on Feldman. Shame on him.